he had some documents. He said, I'm not supposed to have these documents. I kept them. They were copies. And I said, And so he said, yeah, in 1952 I was in Korea on the USS Philippine Sea. I was in the CIC. I was one of the, they didn't call him ship leaders, but that's essentially what he was. So he was, they had a UFO case, and he was there when it happened. And this is when the Navy during the Korean War decided to take serious what these UFO reports were coming to it, because they had met with a guy named Bush, who was the Air Force. One of his jobs was to do radar stuff, and he was a radar expert. But his main job was just to he did a lot of staff planning and stuff, and he was with the Air Technical Intelligence Liaison Office over there. And he was the point of contact for all radar UFO cases that came up. And when he at staff meetings, he would make notes about all the UFO cases that came up at these meetings. And so they had 51. They had radar cases, but they'd never have a visual and a radar case together. The Navy had. So the Navy more or less said, we don't think there's anything to UFO cases like this. And then the Philippine Sea case was they had a radar and a visual sighting of the same thing. Now, that got the Navy thinking that there's something to this after all. At this time, Bush had, like I said, he'd been keeping notes on all these radar cases that the Navy had and others, and he put them together in a big intelligence report. It's on my website. You can go read it if you want. It's got, and he put it so you could, each page is a different case. So, like he said, you can here's my radar report, and you can file these cases separately by pulling out the pages. He did the same thing for visual UFO stuff, but we don't have that.
Well, he wrote a book with Larry. He wrote the book Clear Intent, but they redid it, didn't they, with Barry Greenwood?
No, he wrote the book with Greenwood. Clear Intent. Yeah. They wrote the book together.
And then that's in paperback, folks. And then the UFO cover-up, what the government won't say. Is
the UFO cover-up is just the second printing. They just changed the title on it.
Well, Barry J. Greenwood, who we're talking about, was Lawrence Foster, Foster, and they're personal friends of Jan, so maybe he'll bring them on.
No, I'm sorry, Larry has passed away a long time ago.
Okay, yes.
But he was still alive when I was talking to him, so he's talking to this. He's talking to this Navy commander, and this guy tells Larry, he says, "Well, I've got these documents, and I don't know what to do with them." And I said, "Could you get him to read you some of the like the titles of the documents?" So he did. I said, "I think I have these." Hynek had these in his files. These things are declassified. He said, "You don't have to worry about it." So he said, "Okay, but I still don't want my name." I have his name. I checked his background. Everything he said about his background is actually all the classes he went to. You can look up any Navy officer, military officer that's a career guy.
Yeah.
You can look up there who they are, what schools they've been to, and everything, if you know how to do it.
You think all my books are crazy, or you don't even care about my books, right? You know, I'm just a journalist. You don't care about my woo-woo books, huh?
What book is this?
Knowing Cosmology, Ascension Age 2012 and Beyond, Spirituality, Aliens and UFOs, Uplifting the Soul. I don't even talk about my books, Jan. They were just most of my articles I wrote for UFO Digest. They recruited me out of Canada. When I'd go, my own country would when I'd go into Canada and they'd tear my stuff apart, and then my own government would tear my stuff and keep my. I was like, guys, y'all are the ones putting me in and out of country. You know, come on. But they went through everything. So my stuff is. They wouldn't let me. Reporters talk about me. My poor little daughter's husband went to a hoose cow overnight at Fort Hood for trying to find out about me, and he was in the Army in uniform with his lieutenant, and they locked him up just for trying to find out my name in the computer. So nobody was able to find out who I was, and I don't know that level. I do know that the German, when I was working with J. Allen Hynek, came and told me that for now they had cleared me at Q because of that Edward Ames or whatever, Dames or Ames coming in.
Aldrich Ames?
Yeah, I think that's his name. But something to do with clearance levels, but I was already cleared in 1967 through NASA and Washington, D.C. And then they cleared me again, Washington, D.C. as a rehire at the national intelligence level, right, May 10th, 1987. I had to do another retina scan, polygraph, psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist asked me about being a Latter-day Saint because, you know, we're good spooks in and out of country. And then also if I had any trouble with them buying my contract, the intelligence community. I said, I don't care. So why should I care? You know, they were going to buy my Navy contract, which I guess they did. But they said I'd never be out of service to my country. But I guess you have to die. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe them or not. They tell you weird stuff during those meetings in Washington. But as far as I know, they retired me with 50 years, December 26, 2017. Now, let me ask you this. You were in the Army long enough. Back in the day, I came in the second as a rehire 4x10, which I know you know that what that means. But when they put me back through as a rehire, and they told me that since I came in on a leap year, I signed a paper on 4/29/85 that they extended my contract for 8 years times 4 was 32 years. Do you believe that? Do you think legally they can do that? Because
I don't know. I don't understand you. I don't understand your background because you keep telling me you're half the time you were civilian and half the time you were in the military. No, I can't tell you. What.
I was. All right. Well, there's.
So I can't tell you what you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I don't understand. The military and the civilian. If I was OPM,
if you're an enlisted guy, the usually what you can do is you can re-up for 6 years, but then you know you can re-up again, and then you can re-up again. So that's maybe what people do. I don't know.
Well, what they did was said because the second time was a trick. They rehired me on leap year. That's what screwed my head up. Is they said they were 8-year contracts per year. I just know what they told me. So I had a 32-year contract as a rehire. That was in uniform, but they just wanted me to train Joint Chiefs of Staff, join at a Pentagon, right? Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, you wear all the uniforms, Sea or Mariner program. It's real easy to track. It's so they don't have to give you any benefits. They put you in as training only, but they want you to train, you know. So that's where J. Allen Hynek comes in, right? Because he was at the Air Force, but he moved in 83.
He was just a consultant. He was just a
well, that's why I don't get why
he was a consultant, and he wasn't in charge of anything.
No, but
at first he didn't know how to game the system, but as he stayed in longer, he gamed the system, and he was able to get the whole Project Blue Book stuff files so he could look through every page of it.
I know, but when did he have that operation before he died? You know him from Willie Smith here in Florida. So Willie Smith. Now we should have covered that. We went from Wilbert Smith to Willie Smith.
I'm not sure where he had the operation. I think it's 88.
Yeah.
I think it's 88. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I didn't. Like I said, I never had any dealings with him. I dealt with Rodiger. I dealt with Timmerman. I dealt with Eberhardt. I didn't deal with him.
But you did Berliner, so that's the common name, and Maccabee. Now, how do you know Bruce? Because Bruce is the one that... Are you kidding me?
I don't know Maccabee, no.
You don't know Dr. Bruce Maccabee?
I know who he is. I don't know him. I never met him. Well, I met him. I met him at Foo Force stuff. He used to play the... He would play... He would play music for us at the when they'd have a party or something.
Yeah. No, so no.
I never talked to him. I talked to guys like Carlson and Dick Hall, and
we're gonna get people mixed up with you and me. Folks, we'll just be clear because me and him are tired. 2 hours is a long time. But
I'm not mixed up at all. I know the people I met and stuff like that.
All right.
I never met Bruce Maccabee. I mean, we've talked to but it's just a nodding acquaintance. Yeah, nodding acquaintance. I don't know. So
I apologize.
Yeah, so it's not. I don't. His wife was on. She can't stay on Facebook because they keep throwing her off. They don't like her politics.
Well, all of us in journalism are supposed to be nonpartisan, but she's not a journalist, so she's got a right to her own opinion. Everybody does.
Yeah, but they keep throwing her off, so that's she is. She's a Facebook friend. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, she's a Jan, and I was a Jan, and I love you, and I can't explain it. So that's why I put you in the J. Allen, because you're with CUFOS, and the card he gave me, I could swear it had CUFOS because I remember him telling me to send in my report, which I did.
Well, so like I said, I never knew him.
Oh.
It's just like Keo. I used to go to NICAP. I went to NICAP 12 times. I do volunteer work for him. I know Dick Hall. I know Diana Sinclair-Knopp. I knew Isabel Davis. I knew Gordon Lohr. And Don Berliner. I know all the people that work there. I never met Keo.
Yeah, and you know some of the MUFON people that have been on this radio show, too. That lady, darn it, I forgot her name. She's a real sweet lady with MUFON, and she knows your name. And, well, anyway, folks, we're getting old, and I apologize. I don't mean we're mixed up, but I'm tired, and I know you are. But can we do this again on our at least monthly? I know it's hard weekly, but tell me what you want to do, Jan, because I'm going to build. You
want to do another show? We could do one, sure.
Okay. Well, thank you, but I don't know if you want to go 2 hours, but yeah,
sure.
Information.
There's nothing wrong with this.
Okay, Fridays, every Friday, or no? Because Jan at Lessin wants to do some with us, but she don't like what you and our archivists and historians and ufologists do.
Well,
she wants to. We get the facts. She wants to talk to all the ET contactee and Kathy Martin, Denise Stoner, and that side of the story. So I don't care, but you tell me, is Fridays good? Is because
Fridays are good. Fridays are okay.
All right. How about next Friday? Or you want to do a Saturday or Sunday? I want to keep you involved because UAP-associates, folks, is going to grow by people. They got rid of, Tom DeLonge, I don't know if he's been silenced or not, but that Stargate start